It's weird on this one because I don't remember Nancy Pelosi talking about how the government would be dictating my health care and saddling Americans with extra tax hikes for hiking trails. And in fact, I do specifically remember them saying that no one will get between me and my doctor on the whole test thing. That is weird. Even though something is marked health care or peanut brittle. Does anybody open this one? Peanut brittle looks yummy. Stink on. Where are these made? I swear to God that they're made. It doesn't even say. They're made in countries where it doesn't even say where they're made. When you open up a can of something, they can say peanuts or peanut brittle and look like candy, but when you open it up, it's full of snakes. People cannot be dealing with crushing taxes and more crushing taxes on the crushing taxes we already have during economic times or even in the good times. That's probably why a woman named Doris confronted President Obama about the coming tax storm. She said recently, and watch this, this is the president answering her.
Is it a wise decision to add more taxes to us with the health care? Because we are overtaxed as it is.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about that.
Okay, let's.
You know, because this is an area where there's been just a whole lot of misinformation.
Lots.
And I'm going to have to work hard over the next several months to clean up a lot of the misapprehensions that people have.
Right. Hang on, I will stop it here. Basically, her question is, hey, should we be adding more taxes? And he says, oh, my gosh, there's all kinds of misapprehensions out there and misunderstandings, and I'm going to have to clean it up. Isn't that implying that there wouldn't be any more new taxes? I'd play the rest of it, but it goes, go ahead and start it. Play it at high speed or something. Because he goes on for 17 minutes. I mean, I thought Barack Obama was the smartest man ever created. You know what I mean? Did he really need to filibuster for 17 minutes with poor old Doris saying that America can afford this bill? And really? I mean, look, stop. I know that most Americans were against this because they knew this was reckless. Oh, but the CBO said this bill was just wonderful and would save money. I know they did. I know they did. Based on the paperwork that the Congress gave them. Now, Alan Greenspan just came out in the nick of time after the bill was passed and said that if the numbers are correct, then everything's going to be fantastic. Yes, he did. But he also talked about what happens if the numbers were wrong. Here it is.
What happens if we are wrong? In other words, in the case now where our buffer between our capacity to borrow and our actual debt is narrowing for the first time, I think, in American history.
Yes.
There's the question, supposing we are wrong on the cost estimates.
Yes.
And indeed, they are actually much higher than the best estimates can generate.
Right.
The consequences are very severe.
Very severe. Wow. Wow. First of all, can I point out, I believe you and I were mocked or called crazy or racist or whatever for expressing concerns about jamming a massive multi-trillion-dollar entitlement program right now. Remember? And we were also called racist and crazy and everything else for saying, I don't believe these numbers. And called crazy and racist for asking, hey, what happens, if these numbers are wrong? Greenspan just said it. Secondly, if this is kind of a big if here, don't you think? I mean, heads, America stays the same, and tails, America dies. I'm not a gambling man, but does anybody really believe that the government has any idea about what they're talking about with estimates? Let me give you a couple of examples. Okay, here they are. A couple of examples of their estimations. Remember, we're talking about $1 trillion health care bill. That's what they're estimating it at. How about Boston's Big Dig Highway project? It was, in 1983, estimated to cost $2.35 billion. Okay? Actual cost, 2.35, a little higher, $22 billion. 8.5 times more expensive. Okay? How about Medicare Part A? 1965, they estimated the price tag in 1990. They said, oh, it'll never be more than $9 billion. Actual cost in 1990? A little off. $67 billion. 9.5 times more expensive. Medicare's special hospital subsidy. Love this one. 1987, Congress estimates that for 1992, it would be less than $1 billion. Got it? How much was it? $17 billion. But, in fairness, only 17 times more. That's, you know, this would be entertaining if this were, let's say, an episode of The Price is Right. Remember with their yodeler going up the mountain? That would be great. Unfortunately, this isn't The Price is Right. This is our country. And what was it that Alan Greenspan said would happen to our country if they were wrong?
Supposing we are wrong on the cost estimates.
Yeah.
And indeed, they are actually much higher than the best estimates can generate. The consequences are very severe.
Suppose that they're higher. What? Can I ask a question? Al, is that like a broken leg, you know, severe, or we're all going to die severe? Either way, thanks for the timely advice, Al. Forget for a minute the mountain of past evidence, and I got more, I just don't have enough time, that proves the government can accurately predict the cost of anything. Former CBO Director Doug Holtz-Eakin says in a frightening op-ed, this health care bill would certainly increase the crushing debt, not save us money. Well, that's great. Listen, I can settle this because it requires two things for this not to be really severe, to quote Alan Greenspan. One, this will give you hope. For no boo-boos coming for America, the government has to be right about the money. Okay, that's the first one. And they always, okay, forget this board. These aren't the droids you're looking for. They just have to be right about the cost estimates. And the second thing, because the cost estimates were based on the idea that Congress would cut the spending. So that one requires Congress Have you ever seen Congress have a spine? Ever. Have you ever seen Congress actually cut anything besides defense? Anything. Don't ever bet your life on any of these things happening. If they don't make the cuts, their figures will be wrong, and then bad boo-boos coming. I'm sorry to dumb it down, but people are calling you going, when do I get that free health care? If it's not health care, I mean, I thought health care was essentially fixing the economy. We've done it. Why are we now immediately rushing for new taxes? Oh, I know. It was that evil George Bush, and Barack Obama just didn't know how bad it was, but didn't he just recently say at the State of the Union this?
1 year later, the worst of the storm has passed.
Oh, okay. The worst of the storm is past. Now, he told us if we just pass our big, spending bill, that we're going to be able to have, we'll never have unemployment over 8.5%, and yet. Then if we pass health care, we can fix our economy. So what is it that isn't this supposed to save us money? Wasn't the worst behind us? Why do we now have to introduce now crippling taxes? What about all those savings we'll reap from health care? I thought we were actually decreasing the deficit with this. America, it is time to draw the line in the sand. How many times are we going to allow these people in Washington to tell us untruths? How many times will we watch them take our hard-earned money and then screw it up and spend it and leave you with nothing? How many times do we believe them that they can fix something like Medicare and Medicaid? They don't have a spine. Look, we have hard work to do. Our country is in trouble. And there's hard work to do. And Republicans and Democrats and independents can do it. But there's the first thing that we have to do is stop believing that there is an easy way out. There is not. Free stuff isn't going to make it better. It's going to make it worse. It's like we've fallen for that Nigerian prince email scam, where you send him $10,000 because they promised that we'd get a share of $20 million inheritance with them. You know that one? And then we send them the $10,000 and we get burned. And we're like, duh. And everybody else is looking around going, what the hell is wrong with you? But soon, another email from the prince comes in. So we send another $10,000 and we get burned again. Duh. And we swear this time we've learned our lesson. But then, a third email comes in from another Nigerian prince. Duh.